Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.
The clappy thing clapping means put your phone down, Tyler.
Just texting my mom.
Doesn't your mom know we have important things to do? Like consume...
She would if I told her.
Right, that's fair. Yeah, I remember my father does some work on the vineyard for us because he's into horticulture and he's retired. And he'll talk to Zach and my business partner, and Zach will tell him something. He's like, "What? I didn't know that." And he's like, "What, Willows didn't tell you that?" He's like, "No, Willows doesn't tell me anything."
Yeah, pretty much.
And who is Willows? That is me.
Yep.
Okay, and this is Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we debate business topics, both sober and drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusion, just like the ancient Persians did in their parliament. I'm joined by my co-host.
Got me, Tyler.
And this is episode 38. Thank you for stopping by.
The podcast.
Today we're drinking some more weird shit.
Don't say weird, it's delicious.
Last week, if you recall, we took shots of a mango habanero whiskey beverage, flavored whiskey beverage. And today I made us some Moscow Mules, basically ginger beer, lime juice, and this whiskey. So I'm going to coin it the Mango Mule.
The spicy mango mule.
Spicy Mango Mule, wow. And then I also have some craft beer. Shout out Rebellion Brewing Company in Regina, my favorite Saskatchewan brewery. And shout out Zero Issue in Calgary, Alberta. I was house sitting for my friend, and he was in Calgary, and he brought me back some beer. Also shout out Toolshed Brewing, that he was very excited to share with me, but I am saving those for later.
I just gotta spotlight this can. Just the side that's facing me just says, "It's beer that tastes like beer," which just reminds me of our friend Darcy.
Beer flavored beer.
Yeah.
He's famous for his beer flavored beer.
Yeah, which is just a delicious, just a basic lager, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's just a basic lager, and it just tastes like beer should. And but it has that extra little bit of kick to it that just makes it that much better than your average beer. So you can't even do beer flavored beer shitty. Shout
out Darcy, our resident home brewer, best home brewer I've ever met. I know you listen to this podcast, so shout out to you. How's your anything new or what?
Not super new. I mean, just chugging along with business development. Big sale contract, whatever that potentially, or that I had gotten through Instagram a few months ago, is finally actually materializing. So
Coming to fruition.
Yeah, so we got blueprints last week and in-person meeting I think tomorrow, but it's gonna be probably about on the conservative side, maybe 60 grand to work this year, and then probably north of $500,000 next year.
Cool.
So yeah, really sick client to have. It's gonna probably bump the business by like 50%, and so that's pretty ballin'. And we have another basically with the business model of contracting companies in general, especially on small scale. When you're working with high quality, high skill kind of stuff, it's very hard to acquire employees that actually make your business better. So, you can acquire employees, you can train people, but actually getting people that make your business significantly better is quite a challenge. The skill cliff is pretty high. So what a lot of guys do at small scales, they just kind of acquire, or they do joint ventures, and you combine together to make a more effective base. And then once you have kind of a critical mass number of really competent people, you can kind of fill in with helpers a lot more effectively. So we're kind of looking at swallowing up another sole proprietor that seems to be really pretty skilled. He played a single NHL game, which is kind of strange. And he's been a sole proprietor and seems to be really, really high quality. So if we land that, then we can actually, have the manpower to fulfill the contracts that we're closing.
My cousin also played one NHL game. I
Yeah,
don't know what it
I'm very interested to
he
hear the
was,
story.
he was a goalie for the University of Toronto team. And the Leafs, like, guy got injured, second guy got injured, third guy got injured. And they're like, holy shit. So they call the university, they're like, quick, send us a goalie, like, in the middle of a game.
Oh, wow.
And they fucking called him at home, and they're like, you, like, didn't give him a choice. It was like, you are playing for the fucking Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, get here now, basically. And he played, like, the last inning of a game. Period. A sports ball. I think they lost, but it's fine.
It's the Leafs.
But having, like, saving legitimate goals from legitimate NHL players, that's pretty cool.
Probably hurt.
I'm sure, yeah.
But yeah, that's super cool. So yeah, I don't know this guy's story yet. Still very preliminary, but I like the idea of kind of making a kind of like a consortium of Tylers, where where we basically are able to bring in like the best and biggest contracts and keep guys that like doing good work on the best jobs in the province, and that's just kind of like our power is the clients we have.
Yeah.
But you need to kind of work under our umbrella to get those contracts because we kind of have a monopoly on it, and then also alongside that maybe access to some high-end equipment that you wouldn't normally own for yourself, but when it can be shared across
Sorry, is this something you're working on, or is something hypothetically?
This is something we're working on.
Okay, cool.
So there may be equity splits depending on the skill level or whatever the person brings to the business.
Yeah, of course.
More so like how much business do you bring to the business, not so much what's your skill level. Yeah.
That's that interesting. Like you were saying, with you would have like maybe better equipment or whatever that like anyone under your umbrella could like use.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting, because like the only thing I can compare that to is I know in like the film industry, I don't know if it's anymore because I know camera technology has gotten way better for way cheaper.
Yeah.
But like, 10, 15 years ago, those like red IMAX
Epic
cameras or whatever are
Epics,
like
yeah.
$2 million.
Yeah.
And there's Universal owns like 6 of them. There's like 20 of them. And so when you would like when you get a production company to like fund your movie, they would let you use the cameras basically,
right,
as part of the agreement.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing where you'd have this like fucking insane piece of equipment that no one would want to buy normally, but then like they're
Right.
doing work for you, so it's like, oh, you get to use the fucking big thing.
And even beyond that, we're actually just kind of figured out today, when we're doing like slab work. Slab is just like giant tiles. We're figuring out kind of a partnership with another company where they do they come in, they template everything out, they do the measurements, and they prefabricate stuff on like robotic like CNCs.
Okay.
And then they take delivery of the product, they template it, they CNC fabricate it all out, they deliver it on site, and we literally just show up with like our trowels and buckets, and we just fucking
Put it on the wall.
We
or
slap
whatever.
the thing on the wall. It's like half a day. Wow, just
That was nice. That was really funny.
just like half a day, you slap this shit up, and I mean you're splitting.
I'm Tyler.
You're splitting your install fee, but it's like you're super optimizing the installer's time.
Oh, goofy.
Shut the hell up. Oh my god.
I clipped. I just edited episode 36. It'll be up tonight. If you're listening to this podcast 2 weeks from now, this won't mean anything to you anyway. But episode 36, I just edited like this morning, and it's the clip of you going, every fucking week, Willows, you kill me a little bit more inside. Like,
yeah, that's how I feel.
So yeah. You
But
keep
yeah,
coming back though.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, the warm low fills. The only other thing that that's one of the other things we might really do, instead of just like, hey, we have really cool equipment. It's like, oh, we have this whole system where we got the job, we got it prefabbed, and you literally just got to show up, slap the shit up, and install it. And we have a very, very streamlined way to make a bunch of money, lower the skill level threshold, and just like when you start integrating multiple partners together like that, that's a lot harder for a guy to put together.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think probably the biggest, the hardest part about you scaling like a contracting business is that if you had like you have your team, right, with your people, and then you want to expand, so you make a second team. Yeah, they're going to be shittier.
Yeah.
Probably, right? Like,
yeah.
your your business is so based on the individual skill of the
Yeah.
the installers.
Very high skill threshold, yeah.
But what you're explaining to me, if you can lower the skill threshold, you can keep the quality more consistent.
Yeah.
Because the people with all the skill, or not, I don't want to say like all the skill. I don't want to cheapen obviously what you do, but the people with like all the skill would be like manufacturing the tiles and shit and like putting that all together, like you were saying, right?
Yeah, the prefabrication is something obviously a lot of industries are using. A lot of construction industries are using. Like now, a lot of designs are going to like ICF preform, which is like I don't know what it actually stands for, but basically it's like these foam blocks. So it's like foam braced together with metal, and then you fill the middle with concrete, so you can build, and it's all like preformed. So they send the blueprint to the foam guys, and then they build the foam according to the shape of the house, and you literally plunk it together like Lego blocks on site, and then a concrete truck shows up and just like pours it full.
Yeah,
it takes so little skill to build versus like actually constructing a concrete form, like which a carpenter would have to do.
Yeah,
and all the bracing and everything goes into that. No, you just fucking plop these things down, build a like Lego box, fill it up, move on.
Yeah.
So yeah, prefabrication is.
That's the way the industry is going, probably.
Yeah, it's a great way to scale, and especially when you're getting into really expensive materials and stuff.
'Cause
you have an employee break one slab, you just destroyed your entire margin. So
that's fair, yeah. And I was just thinking, like, in the food and beverage industry, in my industry, you have a bar that opens multiple locations.
Yeah.
Right? Leo's, one of our favorite bars. They're a good example. They have multiple locations in the city, but they're more or less the same. They got the same menu, they got the same beers, right?
Yeah.
But if one was like marginally shittier than the other, that would cheapen the entire brand.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't want like one of your, I'm trying to think of the word, like teams, like
a crew.
one of your crews, you can't have them marginally shittier, because then that's cheapening your entire.
Actually, I can.
Okay.
Because there are different types of installations where like you can kind of gauge the quality of the installation by the quality of the rest of the build and of the material you're working with. So you can have lower skill guys still accomplish a completely acceptable outcome.
Let's see. Walmart wants their floor tiled.
That kind of idea.
You don't need a fucking.
I mean, we're not going that low, but but the same idea. Yeah.
You don't need to put the same time and effort into Walmart's floor that you do these $1 million houses you're working in.
Right, and even within the $1 million house, some applications are a lot easier than others, but that's a good thing because you can kind of scale people through and train them up. You can start them on. You can have like an A team and a B team.
Does the average contractor that starts their own business, do they typically work as like on the ground as the contractor for until they retire?
I mean, by percentages, I would say yeah, because most guys have less than 5 on a crew,
and then they just have them with them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just you and your helpers kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you start talking like bigger companies, you probably would have to be like 20 people and up when you get to the point where a guy's just going to be in the office all the time.
Well, because then you need a full-time people, probably multiple people figuring out
sales, logistics, administration, whatever, project management,
routes and supplies and tools. And
I'd say even once you get over like up to around 10 guys, you could be in the office full time and not actually be setting anymore. You'd probably be on site supervising, but you probably wouldn't be on the tools anymore.
Is that what you want to do, or do you want to be on the tools?
Both. I'm probably going to be project manager, sales on the tools.
Sure.
Until I get tired of it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Like I guess I like still being able to do the jobs that my employees do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
I still want to be the best installer in the company.
Yeah, I agree.
Until it's like physically unreasonable.
That's fair. Yeah, like I consider myself the best salesman in the company.
Yeah.
Even though I hire people to do events and stuff, I know I can go there and outsell them if I was so inclined.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for a leadership role because they need to I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast before, but our friend Zappa, shout out Christian Zappa, who owns a lawn care company, lawn care snow removal, and he had a guy come work for him who was like, and he's my age, right? Or a little bit older. He's your age. He's like 26 right now, but he was, I think, 22 at the time. And he hired this like 60-year-old man
Yeah.
to like work, because it's just mowing lawns, right? It's not fucking rocket socks. And this 60-year-old man apparently was just shit talking him the entire time. Like, what the fuck does a fucking 22-year-old know about running a business? All this shit, like just fucking shit talking him, because Zappa wasn't at the time, doing any of the like hard work. Like he was just doing administration work. So this fucking boomer thought like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything about anything, whatever. And then the funny part was, I think that was the guy that they the manager that this guy was bitching to obviously tells Zappa, he's like, this guy's just fucking been chirping my ear off all day, fucking calling you a piece of shit, all this. And then they dropped him off at a bus stop, flicked him $3 and said, you're fired. take a bus home.
Oh god, that's amazing.
Pretty funny. But I don't know if this is really related, but like I like to my employees
I probably would have just showed up. I would have kicked the supervisor to the office for the day, and I would have started driving that truck, and I would have kicked that guy's ass for like as many days straight as it took for him to be like,
to break his spirit,
to just literally break him by working at such a breakneck pace, and
let's
just
go.
just like working it's been only 11 and a half hours today. How long can you stay? Like just fucking break his will. Until he's like, okay, you're the boss. Like that's probably what I would have done.
The other anecdote I have,
and then fired him.
This is completely unrelated, but the other funny anecdote that comes to mind about my Zappa's company is he had this guy. I don't think he works for him anymore, but he had this guy named Parm Deep that worked for him. Parm was a cool guy, but don't be stereotypical. But you can assume what Parm Deep looked like just based on his name. But he spoke very, very good English. But when a customer would come out and like yell at him, he would pretend he didn't speak English.
Slick.
It was so funny to watch. He would be like, "Oh, sorry, I only speak, Farsi or whatever." Like
my grandma does that.
I don't know. Sorry. Like, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay, whatever." Like, but meanwhile, he's like, "Oh no, I understood her." Like, it's pretty funny.
My grandma's license expired like 17 years ago.
Okay.
And she's like, if I ever get pulled over, I'll just play dumb. Cause she
speaks German.
Yeah, she would just start speaking German and cry. And she's like, yeah, I'll probably just like cry and talk German. And then we looked at her, and then she just kind of, we're like, are you serious? And she just started laughing her ass off, and I'm like, you are a funny ass woman.
Your license is like $35 a year, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have any accidents. Mine was
she doesn't. Like, she has a perfectly clean record. She's never had like a ticket in Canada.
My license was only $600 this year.
Wow.
2 years ago it was $2,500.
Yeah.
I capped out we have a demerit system in Manitoba. If you get into accidents, you get demerits. If you go down to 25 demerit, because we have a publicly run insurance company.
Yeah.
So they legally can't charge you more for your insurance because it's a government agency, but they can charge you more for your license. So that's what they do.
Right.
So all our insurance is the same, because I don't know if you know this, but in America and Alberta, men and women are charged different rates.
Right.
Occupations are charged different rates. Like, they basically risk assess your entire life. They're like, men typically drive more aggressively, so they get this rate in these cars. It's a whole algorithm. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well, you're a professional stunt driver. Oh, you're going to get a higher rate because we think you're going to be more of a risk. Like, it's, but in Manitoba, everyone gets the same rate. It's just based on your car, not based on who you are as a person.
Right, but you do get discounts for good behavior.
Yes, correct. You get up to.
You don't get charged more for bad behavior, but you get discounts.
Yeah, I don't know why they obviously, someone smarter than me has figured out what's legal and what's not, right? Yeah. With a public whatever, but anyway, so I capped myself out at demerits. But if you go like a year, so there's like, you can go up to plus 15.
Yeah.
And then negative 25. So when you're in the like negative 20s, you're paying like $2,000 for your license every year, but every year that you don't get in an accident, you go up like 10.
Or get a ticket.
Or get it. Yeah, you have to go a full 12 months without anything on your record, and then at negative 25, you go up to like 13.
Right.
The first year you go up like 10 the second year, and then you go up like 4, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 every year.
Yeah.
Because they're basically like, okay, well, if you've gotten to like 12 accidents and you go an entire year without being in an accident, good job, buddy.
Yeah. Otherwise it'd be like a hopeless hill to climb.
Yeah, exactly. So my big one that got me like 10 demerits was, I don't think I can tell this story because I still have a warrant for my, you know that story. Anyway, it's the whole thing. But that was the big one. And then the other one, remember I swerved out of the way of a deer and totaled the car?
Right.
I hope that deer lived a fucking long life and and died of natural causes.
He's on Mitch's wall.
Yeah, because I was so here's the ironic part. Like I don't drive drunk anymore. I'll leave it at that.
Good premise.
You know, we're all dumb kids, like whatever, right? But there's, you know, whatever. But I was drinking heavily. I said to myself, you know what, I probably shouldn't drive drunk, and I slept it off. Drove in the morning sober and got in a fucking accident.
Oh God, like, no.
Yeah. Because I had to be back in the city for like 10 a.m. or whatever, right? And I was at my cousin's cabin. And I was going to drive home that night and sleep in my bed. And then I'm like, you know what, Willows, don't drive drunk, like fuck off, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. Slept in the back of the car. Woke up at like 8 a.m., whatever, 9 a.m. It was like an hour back to the city. And yeah, I was taking like onto the 59, like one of the, coming onto it. It's like a really it's like basically a 90-degree angle because you're coming off a dirt road onto the highway. Yeah. And I didn't see the deer. The deer was, I guess, in the intersect, like in the turn. And I couldn't see it just how the angle was until I was already like at a 45-degree angle. And then by the time I saw it, I'm like, holy shit. And I like either kept steering or let go of the steering wheel and just started spinning out and then ended up in the ditch. And
next time, hit the boy.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? Hit a deer. That's what they say. Don't swerve.
It's really dumb because if you hit the deer, you get no demerits. It's like a no-fault accident.
Because it's wildlife, yeah.
But if you swerve to avoid the deer, it's your fault.
Yeah. Well, they said though, if I had a dash cam that caught that deer at all,
right,
it wouldn't have been my fault.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Yeah.
So it's been on my list of things to do to put a dash cam in the van. Because how much is a fucking dash cam? That would have saved me, $500 in the year for my license if I had. Yeah. Because if the dash cam saw that deer, and even if you did, because like they usually, if you hit it, they fucking have fur and shit in your grill. Right. They can prove it, right?
Yeah, but that makes sense.
If they had just seen it, it would have been not my fault. But whatever. And then the other one, I totaled my car, not on the deer. I totaled that car, got another one, totaled that one. So then we bought a company van, and I just started daily driving the company van, which I still actually do today. And I was driving the company van, and we didn't have winter tires because we couldn't afford them. Because it's a Mercedes van, and the fucking Mercedes tires are disgustingly expensive, like 4 times this fucking price of like, because they're like the payload on my van's like way higher than like a equivalent Ford. Yes, it's like 2,500 pounds. Yeah. So these tires are, I guess, stronger. I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about cars.
Yeah. Well, my van's the same, but I have a common size, so mine are cheap.
Sure. Yeah. Fucking Fords, right? Like.
Yeah. No. My tires for 3/4 ton, 5,000 pound payload, like twice as much, was like $260 a tire for like really good winter tires.
So whatever. So these Mercedes tires were like, and this was back when we barely had enough money to fucking pay rent, right? Yeah. And it was we live in a notoriously icy and snowy city, and it was one of those roads that's like a road with, and then a middle part, and then another road.
A boulevard.
Yeah, well, I get, yeah, like a boulevard. Yeah. So I stopped at the 4-way stop, and I fucking slid all the way through the road, 2 lanes of traffic, through the boulevard, through another lane of traffic, and fucking T-boned a guy. Slid at like 40.
Yeah.
Like, slid that entire fucking way. Because it was just one of those fucking Winnipeg.
Yeah, one of those
just
wonderful
snowed.
days. Yeah.
It was just fucked. I didn't even make a claim on my van because there was not a single piece of damage. I think like the cover on my plug broke or something. By the way, you couldn't even see anything.
Yeah.
No paint, no nothing. So I didn't even make a claim. But he made a claim, obviously. So that way, whatever. But and then that was right after that. I talked to my partner. He's like, "Yeah, okay, let's buy winter tires." Like, I'm like, "Fuck!" I had to go through that.
That's rough.
But yes,
And, yeah, you couldn't do the winter tire financing as well because commercial.
I think we talked about
Bullshit.
Because I tried because our government is like, hey, we'll finance you winter tires because they want people to get winter tires, and I tried to do it, and they're like, oh no, because your fucking van's registered your business, you can't do it. I'm like, but a human drives it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, fuck off. Like,
the businesses need financing.
You're gonna get your money. Like, I don't. It was dumb, but
yeah.
Yeah. So, long story short, I have a mixed driving record. I also get like 3 speeding tickets a month. No, I'm way down on that, but I got 2 last month.
Oof.
It's fine. I sent them to Radar Rodney. Shout out Radar Rodney. Here's a good fucking business.
Yeah.
I love it. So there's this guy in our city called Radar Rodney who you send him your radar tickets, your speeding tickets, or your not stopping at a stop sign, and he send him a ticket, and he knocks off money for you. He goes into court and defends you and knocks off money, and then you basically owe him half the money he took off as his fee.
Right.
So if he took off 50%, you pay him 25%, and then you've had like a 25% reduction for nothing.
Yeah.
And so apparently this is how he does it, because so many people, and he's like a legitimate lawyer. Excuse me. But so apparently, because so many people pay him, right? He walks into the court with like 300 tickets and says, hey, judge, every single one of these people has the right for their case to be heard before a court. So I will make this take the next 9 months, or you cut every single ticket in half right now. And they go, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Deal, done. Cut it all in half. Apparently that's his business model.
Yeah, because that is something that I heard from like an anarchist page about if you want to melt down the government or just like make it cease to function in a way that you don't like anymore, just literally everyone that gets a mundane ticket contest it.
Yeah.
And then
they would be fucked.
And then if every single person, that's step 1, everyone goes to contest it, and then you delay the court appointment 3 times.
Yeah, sure.
It's about, you would back up, the guy did some fucking math on it. You back up the entire court system for like 9 fucking months.
Well, they're already, because of COVID, they're already backed up.
9 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're already backed up 9 months.
No, it'd be like 9 fucking years.
In Canada, we have the right to a speedy trial. That's what it's actually called. Google that. We have a right to a speedy trial. You have the right to your shit because you have a fucking case heard 12 years later. No one fucking remembers what happened.
Yeah.
And human memory, we've talked about this on the podcast, is fucking notoriously bad.
It's very bad.
And you have the right for your case to be heard quickly. And because of
speedy.
And if you keep delaying it, you can eventually ask for it to be dismissed because nobody fucking remembers anything.
Yeah, I think that might have been like part 3 is everyone gets their tickets dismissed. Yeah. Well, the idea was you would make basically the police department go broke, because they would also, every time you contest a ticket, the officer that gave you that ticket has to be present.
So I don't know if other departments do this, but our department started paying cops time and a half to show up to court because they never did.
Right.
But now they get paid time and a half to go show up. So here's one of my favorite stories. I was in court one time, not for myself, for my business partner. I don't know why I was with them. Was I driving? I don't remember. Whatever. But he was it was traffic court for. Never mind. Don't worry about what it was for.
Doesn't matter. It's his story to tell.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But the guy before us was like defending himself. And it's not like, if you've ever been a traffic court, it's not a fucking like court of law. It's basically you just walk up, the justice goes, okay, like whatever. And so this guy is like, has this whole presentation ready.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And I'm like, I have an like, I think I've said this on the podcast. I actually wanted to become a lawyer because
I think we've talked about this, yeah.
because I love arguing with people.
Yep.
Oh, and I have like, I can remember fucking weird statutes and laws all the time. Like I'm
lyrics.
I don't know, lyrics too. Yeah, movie lines. Like I don't know why my brain works like that, but it just does. But so I'm interested in like law and stuff like that. So this guy, it was like a driving without a seatbelt ticket.
Okay.
This, they claim he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, whatever. And so this guy gets up and he's like, I guess he gets to interview the cop, ask him questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, okay, officer, whatever, like, do you remember the weather on that day? Was it a nice day? Whatever, right? And the cop goes like, oh, it was sunny. And he's like, I would like to submit to evidence this printout of Canada weather, saying that it was indeed cloudy. And then he's like, if he doesn't remember the fucking weather, how could he possibly remember what I was doing?
Yeah.
And then he was like, sir, do you remember what I was wearing that day? He's like, whatever. And he's like, well, I would like to submit this printed out picture of a selfie I took right after I got fucking arrested or like ticketed of me wearing a very dark shirt. If you notice, the dark shirt is pretty much the same color as my seatbelt. Would you accept that?
Yeah.
And he's like, whatever. And he's like, so is it possible that this seatbelt could have blended in with my shirt? And it was just so fun. It was like watching a fucking TV, like, gotcha.
Oh, that's really good.
It was fucking great. I don't remember what happened, but
I'm gonna say, I hope he got off.
Well, I think one of my life goals, I think, when I'm a billionaire, I want to like show up to traffic court with a team of like 13 lawyers with their fucking briefcases and shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, David Cochran for the defendant, and it's like, sir, this is a traffic court. Like,
and he's like, yes, I know. My boss is an idiot.
Just to waste their goddamn time and resources.
Yeah.
Well, you can ask for, like, they will send you full color pictures of your car getting pulled over. Like, they'll send you videos of the dash cam of the cops. Like, they will send you everything they have. You can drag that shit out because you have to have adequate time to review it. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's
like,
so funny.
If your objective is to win, that'd be one thing. But if your objective is to take as long as possible, that'd be so much funnier.
Well, that's what I don't give a shit. I'll pay the $200 ticket. I don't give a fuck.
You roll in with a fancy lawyer, and he looks at the judge. He's like, "Hi, John."
Yeah.
They like got drunk at the strip club last night.
Yeah, like, man,
That's how my Cleveland lawyer was. Not like, getting drunk with lawyers, or with judges, but he had been a lawyer for so long, he just knew every judge by name and their temperament or whatever. He's like, depending on the day and which magistrate he got. I mean, because obviously you see what magistrate you get when you get the appointment. He could tell me exactly how it was going to go.
What is it, a magistrate or is it a count judge?
Or no, it would have been a judge. It would have been a judge.
No, it's not a judge.
In Ohio.
Oh, no, I was talking about here. We don't have judges well, we have judges for like criminal cases, but it's just crown attorney, like crown prosecutors. Right. Or who's I think they're just Manitoba justices that like defend, like they're, I don't know.
I don't know the legal system here.
I don't know the legal system here either. I've never been convicted of a crime. Sheriffs in America are cops.
Right.
Sheriffs in Canada are court guards, or like bailiffs.
Yeah.
Those are sheriffs.
Yeah, they handle detention and
prisoner transfer, evictions, and guarding the court.
Right. Carrying out court orders.
Yeah. Do you know that judges are allowed to conceal carry?
Yes, and also there's a thing. There's kind of like a scam running in some of these southern states where they like deputize random rich people, or that these guys, they just got to go in for like a day a year and like do some service,
And then they're allowed to just
because they're
break the law.
deputized, they can like concealed carry in New York and wherever they want.
Yeah. Well, technically, our mayor in Winnipeg can conceal carry if you were so inclined. There's like
So is Brian Packin?
concealed carry is very illegal in Canada.
Well, no, not illegal. It's just very hard to get.
Very, like, you think like New York State is hard to get a fucking concealed carry? Try to get one in fucking Canada.
Yeah.
They issued like 500 in a year or something in a population of 35 million.
Yeah.
It's mainly like armored truck guards are allowed to conceal carry.
But even they don't really conceal. Like, they just kind of open carry on their hip, don't
Well,
they?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then the prime minister's bodyguards are allowed to,
Right.
but cops can't.
No.
Police officers, even undercover police officers, like can't really conceal carry. Like they just need to not have a gun if they're undercover, or if they're uniform, they need to have it outside of their cloak, like in a holster, right?
Yeah.
Like we do not really conceal carry in Canada at all, but technically, like what is it, like agents of the crown, because we're technically a monarchy, can like conceal carry, and one of those people is the mayor of a city. I think like reeves technically can,
Ooh.
which is why I want to get like elected a reeve of like some weird small town and then just fucking carry a fucking gun.
'Cause
They
it's
probably
funny.
still not let you, but I think you could use that as an argument.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just like one of those
It's like
things.
bear danger.
It's one of those things that's like in law, but like is not practiced.
Yeah. Kind of in poor taste.
The mayor, like, okay, but like judges are allowed to conceal carry, and there's been situations where they were like trying dangerous organized crime, that they were worried of interference from like the whatever,
Yeah.
and so the judge had a fucking shotgun under their robe, like ready for like the mafia to fucking
He's
like
not carrying a little pea shooter. He's got a goddamn sawed off.
Yeah,
under his
literally.
robes.
It's actually it's actually happened before, because they're
That's
worried
wild.
about like the mafia breaking in and trying to steal the guy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, fucking wild.
Valid.
Yeah, literally, yeah, wild. But yeah, I don't know.
I think the more I listen to, real Americans talking about what guns mean to America, the more I'm like, yeah, don't take them away. Like, I think it's because maybe as a founding principle it was flawed, but today, inextricable. Like, you could not take the
Take it
guns out of
away.
America
Yeah.
and have an America that's still fucking intact. Is not possible. You would literally see like a secession of a state.
I think I've flip flopped on this, because
I think they're bad, but I don't think you can take them away.
fair. What do you think?
I believe both of those things.
What do you think about in Canada?
I don't know. I think we have a pretty good system here.
I think we have a pretty good system too.
Like, if you want a gun, you can get a gun.
I think
you just can't use assault weapons, and why would you want an assault weapon?
I think I've flip flopped on this debate. I
Yeah.
used to be pro gun control, and now I think I'm less.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of the right wing people, their arguments suck,
Mhm.
and that's why I was always like not on their side,
Yeah.
because a lot of like, well, I know, like, I consider myself pretty libertarian. I obviously have conservative views and liberal views, but that was always like the split on, and like a lot of libertarians say like, well, like you just asked, why do you need an assault rifle? It's like, well, why do you fucking need a fast car?
Yeah.
I don't need one. I just fucking want one. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. Why do I need anything, right? Which, fine. That's certainly an argument. But I hate the like, oh, if we ban guns, only criminals will have guns, right? I don't like that argument at all. I don't subscribe to it, because they're always like, well, fucking school shooter didn't have a fucking license for his gun, whatever.
Yeah. No, they just went
But-
they just went to a gun show and bought,
Yeah, but
bought
if
something without a background check
or
or license.
stole it from their parents, which that's
Right.
more common.
Yeah.
So if none of these people had guns in the first place, there was like, well, there's blood on the fucking black market. I think like Jim Jeffries has a good bit where he's like, yeah, black market. He's like, fucking Sandy Hook shooter, autistic as fuck. His words, not mine. He's like, what? You gonna go down to the fucking dock and be like, guns? Someone sell me a gun. Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean black market? Do you know what have you ever tried to buy a black market firearm? I have. In Canada, they're prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
You're spending fucking 50 grand on a fucking assault weapon.
Yeah.
Because it's so illegal. Because you get
and
life
then,
for
and then
fucking...
you have like a probably 50-50 chance that it's not
a fucking undercover cop.
Yeah, it's not a gun that shows up at your door. It's the fucking RCMP.
I knew a guy in high school who bought a gun on the dark web, like a golden AK-47.
Oh my god!
Just like it's just like spray paint. It came in a TV, disassembled in 60 pieces. Each piece was shoved in a part of the TV.
Right, so it wouldn't get detected in like an X-ray.
Yeah. And he had to disassemble, and it came in like a sealed Best Buy box.
Yeah.
With receipts, everything. Looked totally legitimate.
How much money did he have?
I don't know.
It sounds very expensive.
This is also, I never actually saw it. This could have been a lie, but it
sounds real.
It seemed credible when he told it to me, and his friends were like, "Oh no, I've seen this thing, whatever." But yeah, and he had to like disassemble this television, take out all these fucking. I think it was like, this was like when I was in high school, so this was like early 2010s, late 2000s. So I think it was like one of those, not like shitty tube TVs, but one of those like rear projection tube TVs.
Oh, okay.
That were still like kind of relevant. Like it wouldn't be now 2021 it'd be sus if you're buying one of those, but like 2009 it was like, okay, why are you buying this old TV, but you could, kind of thing.
Right.
And like tube TVs had literal tubes, and that's where like the barrel of the fucking rifle was in these like fucking things.
Wow.
And yeah, and there was like instructions like inside of it of like how to take everything apart. And then you got all these gun parts, and you assemble the gun.
That's pretty dope, actually.
Because how do you get it through fucking
now,
security, right?
Yeah, now you just 3D print it.
Now you just 3D print it, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you get a shitty gun, but a gun. I think, like, one of the main points of, like, how do you, balance power against the state with assault weapon bans and stuff, I think that's kind of also invalid because... I mean, you can still run a very effective insurgency with shotguns and long guns.
Oh yeah,
like hunting guns.
Well, because
that's like all you need. You just like a little bit of fucking modification.
Does your insurgency become easier with automatic weapon? Like,
you would become more annoying for the government,
sure,
but they're going to be a lot better at it than you are. Like, as soon as you pull out that machine gun, you are target number one. You're going to get fucking mortar strike and you're dead. Like,
and I guess, like, yeah, that's an argument. Like, Biden just made this argument. He's like, what, you're going to run an insurgency? I'll fucking drone strike you.
Yeah.
Biden said that shit. Like,
yeah, you just get hit by an A-10 Warthog or an R9X knife missile.
Like, we were just talking about this yesterday. These fucking modified Hellfire missiles that just have blades instead of...
Yeah, they're literal knife missiles.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke. It's not a fucking joke. They have knife missiles.
Yeah, because...
Your M4, you're not M4, your AR-15 ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah. Well, and they can put these fucking missiles like bunker busters and shit. Like, they can put that... They can hit it like a square meter from space.
Yeah.
Like... Yeah. It is what it is.
Your AR-15 ain't gonna do shit. I mean, it might be helpful to, like, tire them out on the ground, but if you're really carrying out an insurgency, there's a lot of ways that don't require assault weapons being in every home.
I think at this point of, like, nuclear weapons and, like, drone strikes, and cyber attacks, like, all that, like, I think there's more efficient ways of carrying out an insurgency than just going to shoot at your opponents, especially in America. Like, okay, think about Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam was a war. Never mind. Think about like Cuba, right? Cuba Revolution. Think about Myanmar's having a revolution, right? Think about these places, right? They are not the fucking United States. You know how big the United States is?
Yeah.
Like, it's not as big as Canada, but you know how fucking wide the United States. Like, it's a big fucking country.
Yeah.
Like.
And it's it has every climate structure basically that you could have, every ecosystem you could have.
Like, you're not going to be able to, like, military might control the United States in an insurgency?
I think like somebody actually did like the numbers on this, and the entire U.S. military could control, like, unless they used, weapons of God, like the nukes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Barring they don't carpet bomb their own cities, like just use their own infantry or whatever, they can control up to like a maximum of like 5 states.
Yeah,
Out of the lower 48, they could control 5.
that adds, and they would probably pick North Dakota. And
They base at that point, you're just talking about secession.
So
Of some degree.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think an actual solution to America is just split it right in half. Give the liberals one side and the Republicans the other side.
And you have like 1 year to move your shit to the right side.
Oh,
of
and
the
they'll
line.
pay for it.
Yeah.
Be like, we'll pay for it. You pay for all your moving
Or
expenses.
they have like a home swap program. They launched like a Airbnb for.
Oh, and the Democrats will just take Republican homes in the other
Yeah.
state and vice versa.
Yeah, you just do a home swap.
That's funny. Do you see that Airbnb is accepting 100,000 refugees from Afghanistan and putting them in properties?
100,000 seems like a lot.
Maybe it was 10,000, but it
Probably
was like
10
still.
probably 10,000 because Canada is taking 20,000.
So some private company probably isn't taking. That's fair. Maybe it was 10,000.
But also Airbnb can accept them in multiple countries.
I was telling you just before the podcast, I meant to eat today right before you came over, but then I had to go do something. So I have not eaten at all in the last 36 hours.
Oh,
and
God.
this whiskey's kind of hitting me. So maybe it is 10,000. But on that note.
Yeah, they're
should we just shoot
evacuating.
this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're evacuating about 10,000 a day right now, and they've got about.
Because Afghanistan, if you're listening to this in future land, Afghanistan is currently under Taliban rule. It just got.
Actually, by the time this comes out, the deadline will have passed, and people may have died a lot. So.
Oh yeah, because they were like, you have this amount of time to get out before we start just fucking you up.
They didn't say what they were gonna do, but most likely, what's gonna happen is they're just gonna stop.
September 1st, right?
Yeah, they're gonna stop letting people get to the airport.
Because they control the airport. The Taliban controls the airport right now.
No, they control everything around the airport.
Okay, do
the
they?
U.S. military controls the airport.
Okay.
They dropped 6,000 troops on it, which is a fucking lot to control an
Yeah,
airport.
true. Yeah.
But what is very likely to happen is there is literally thousands of people that want to like take a pot shot at the last American in Afghanistan. So like,
sure, fair.
as those 6,000 troops, pull out, like the last flights there's very, very high potential for an awful PR disaster at this point. With like, visualize, it's the last day. Fucking last plane is leaving. It
blows up.
It's being again chased down the runway by Taliban fighters or whatever. There's still 20,000 people on the ground. You're distracting.
No, sorry.
There's still 20.
Super interesting beer I just took a sip of.
So imagine there's still 20,000 people on the ground that should have been evacuated, but they didn't get there in time. 20,000 people on the ground. Fucking suicide vest goes off, kills a shitload of people. Maybe a bunch of suicide vests go off because why not? Plane takes off, gets shot down by ISIS because ISIS.
I thought ISIS didn't exist anymore.
Oh, they super exist. Right now, there's a faction. The faction of interest, quote unquote, is ISIS-K, and they don't currently have any clout or respect because they haven't really done anything
Is
big yet.
ISIL are they cooperating with the Taliban?
No, they're
friends?
they're a problem for the Taliban.
Are they different Muslims?
Yeah, the
Okay.
ISIS is Taliban fighters that didn't think the Taliban was radical enough.
No, are they different Muslims though?
No.
Like Sunni and what's the other one?
No, I think they were Taliban, Sunni, and I think they're like of the same sect but more extreme.
Okay.
So they were previously of the same group and then split off because they're like, you guys are too lenient.
Because I feel like, don't take this out of context. I feel like the Taliban is good. Just kidding. That was a joke. They're kind of based though, if we're being honest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've been talking about this for okay.
They're killing it on Twitter.
They legitimate Taliban members are shit posting on Twitter and making memes Like, that is objectively hilarious. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care. That is objectively funny. They fucking took a picture.
Especially because Trump isn't on Twitter. That's the best
Oh
part.
my god.
So
They would be tweeting at Trump. It would be so fun. Anyway, but like,
Can you imagine the shit Trump would be posting?
They-
Oh, this would be amazing.
they took a picture, the famous United States World War II picture of them putting up the flag. They fucking recreated that, putting up the Taliban flag in Kabul.
Yeah.
That is objectively hilarious.
And they posted on Twitter.
Well, no, and they're tweeting memes, like the fucking soy face meme, like that meme, like they're doing that shit, and like the yes Chad, that's one of my favorite memes, like yes, that guy. It's like, oh, you can't just like, oh, treat women like objects. He's like, yes, and it's the fucking Taliban tweeting that. That is objectively hilarious. I don't give a fuck. If fucking
it's-
Hitler was shit posting, I would be laughing.
We're in a simulation.
Literally, the simulation is testing us to see how far they can fucking push us. But okay, my point being, I feel like, okay, obviously I don't condone the Sharia law stuff.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
like
it's pretty fucked up.
the like forcibly removing women's clitorises so they don't have pleasure during sex and stuff, and like marrying off 12-year-olds and like beheading women, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Not ideal. I do not like that. But I also don't like
That's a hot take.
that I don't like the Sharia law. Yeah, the fucking
take.
hot take for Willows. So here's the thing though. Because I've had some of these fucking liberals on my Twitter condemning the Taliban when their prime minister is selling weapons to Saudi Arabia.
That does
Which-
basically the same shit.
Not basic. They do the same shit.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia is unarguably the most powerful Muslim state there is. They have the most established set of Sharia law in the world.
Yeah, they killed journalists.
They kill journalists. They fucking behead. They fucking they stoned a woman to death a little while ago. I was reading an article because she got raped,
Right.
but that's technically infidelity.
Right.
So they stoned her to death. They threw stones at her until she died. Like,
That's such an insanely brutal way to die. Like, I can't even imagine.
well, it's biblical, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole point,
It's
right?
so brutal.
And they behead people, and you know, Saudi Arabia is a monarchy. Like it's a fucking Muslim monarchy, which is like fine, whatever. I don't want to be involved, but our prime minister Justin Trudeau sells them billions of dollars of weapons so that they can continue doing this.
It's fine.
So I don't want to hear fucking liberal voters being like, oh, the fucking Taliban, when meanwhile we're allies with Saudi Arabia. So my, I guess, official position, I don't care either way. Obviously, I feel for people and I don't want them to get hurt and killed and whatever. But at a certain point, run your own shit, man. We got to worry about our country.
Well, like Afghanistan, if the Taliban gets what they want,
if we're gonna invade,
they're gonna basically become like the next Qatar
My
or the
one-
next Dubai.
well, here's my point: is that if you want us to go back to Afghanistan, then we fucking may as well invade Saudi Arabia.
Right.
That's my point. Is that why are we picking? You know, and you know why we're picking?
Oil.
No. Saudi Arabia has oil. Afghanistan is one of the most fertile farmlands in the world. They have 80% of the world's opium supply. They have like 70% of the world's lithium supply, which we need for cell phone batteries and electric car motors. Afghanistan is one of the most, like, I know American propaganda makes it look like a desert to you,
Yeah.
but Afghanistan is one of the most beautiful, fertile countries in the world.
They have. Yeah. I think what JL, our friend, was saying was they have about 3.1 trillion dollars of natural resources completely untapped in the country, and that's in an area like the size of France. So,
Because
and China,
and it's
yeah.
only untapped because what American fucking propaganda wants you to think is because all these fucking Muslim savages don't know how to fucking, you know, whatever. No, it's because they've been at war. When did the Russians invade them? The 70s?
Yeah.
And in the America created the Taliban. No, created Al Qaeda to fight the Russians.
Yeah, what they fund with the Mujahideen, and then to push out the commies,
And then they trained,
destroy commies at all costs.
they picked Saddam Hussein to
Yeah.
be their leader in fucking Iran or whatever, Iraq. Like, the fucking just, I want to get off this topic because I'm getting mad, but like, just the fucking like cognitive dissonance you have to be like, yeah, Taliban bad, Saudi Arabia good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, where did this even come from? Because the Taliban's like far right, right?
Yeah.
The reason why America wanted them in the first place was to take out the Russian communism and be far right.
Well, that's America's policy is...
And now that's what they're doing.
Is destroy the commies at all costs. Like, at the cost of literally...
Not anymore, though.
No, well...
Which is the problem.
Yeah, well, destroying the commies at all costs, including burning down the entire world.
Well, just Google Afghan poppy field American soldiers. And you'll see American soldiers guarding Afghan poppy fields. Because that's where all the heroin comes from. Like, this isn't a conspiracy theory. This happens. This shit happens.
And
like,
lithium mines, like
the lithium mines.
U.S. military was moving like thousands of tons a day out of Afghanistan. Like, they were mining it while they were there. And
we're only like, lithium mines were making cell phone batteries, which is obviously important, but now fucking electric cars need lithium.
Yeah,
it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, lithium's probably gonna be one of the most sought after resources, because right now China is losing they're basically to the point where they need to find a cheaper source of lithium to remain competitive price wise.
Yeah.
So if they don't secure the Afghanistan supply of lithium, which, I mean, the Taliban now is going to guarantee them.
The Taliban has said we are open for business.
Yeah, and China's here's the China long-term thinking. They've been working on like rebuilding the Silk Road for like decades already.
Yep.
So they're ready to go. They're ready to fucking roll. They got trucks at the border. They're ready to fucking roll over. And they said they were going to bring over like 100,000 Chinese workers to now work the mines.
Because Afghanistan has a border with China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to basically bring 100,000 Chinese workers over the border to run the mines, and they're just going to split the proceeds, and that's going to fuel the regime, and now they're going to have a fucking functional economy. Like, they have enough resources to turn into the next Dubai.
So here's the thing, I guess. Are we okay with the Taliban becoming a legitimate state?
I don't think we have a fucking opinion in the matter.
Well, I don't know. We're doing a podcast. Like, I don't know. Do you care?
I mean, like, objectively, no.
Does Saudi Arabia have elections? I don't think so. They're a monarchy. They have kings.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, Dubai is like a free port. It's like
it's its own weird
zone. Yeah, it's like a free trade zone, but everything outside of that is awful.
But like Abu Dhabi's awesome.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it would obviously take a very long time, and if nobody goes to war with them in the next 30 years, they'll probably.
One thing, like, can they not just establish like the Taliban party and then just have a Congress and shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that. Why not?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they want to do.
Yeah, and we have far right countries that we don't like. Poland is super fucking far right.
Hungary,
and no one gives a shit.
Yeah, they're super corrupt. They're
Muslim.
Super right wing. They're super authoritarian.
People are pissed off that they're Muslim. That's why it's just racism. Like, not that we're defending the Taliban.
I think they're pissed off because it fosters extremism, right?
Sure, but my argument since 9/11 has been maybe don't fucking bomb these people. You kill people, and then their children turn 18 and go, you know what I'm going to do? Devote my life to getting these fuckers back.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
I would. I'm very vindictive. Yeah. I'd do it for less. They steal my parking spot. I'd fucking probably kill your father. Yeah. But maybe don't do that. Let's just try. 20 years. Let's not invade anybody. Not kill anyone with a drone strike, and then see if things calm down.
Yeah.
Because I think the press conferences I've seen with the Taliban, most of them are just like, get fucking America influence out of here. That's all we want.
Yeah. I mean, they have not had peace and quiet to just do their own fuckery for a
America's
long time.
been in war since their inception 350 years ago, all but like 7 years.
And a country can't become progressive if they're at war. They're just going to freeze. Like, their society freezes. Their economy freezes. Nothing will move ahead.
Anyway, this is usually later.
Foreign policy podcast.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's fine. It's fucking important.
I was
right now.
apologizing to the audience, not you.
I'm saying it's fine either way.
We're now transitioning to the segment that we call Shot Caller, the part of the show where you, the audience, can pick the shot that we take. This week, we are again taking a shot of Old Smoky Tennessee whiskey-flavored habanero fucking mango drink. Fuck you. We did it two weeks in a row. I can do
Mango
it.
habanero flavored
I don't give a
whiskey.
shit. Cheers.
It's not whiskey flavored mango habanero drink.
Well, no, it's a whiskey beverage. It's not actually a whiskey. Not enough whiskey in it to legally be
whiskey,
considered
yeah.
a whiskey.
What's that beer like?
It's good. Take a sip. Fuck. Tell me what you.
Mango passion fruit sour.
Yeah. Tell me what you think that first like bite is.
Strange.
Yeah. Right. That's why I made that. I think the exact same face earlier.
Because right on the nose, it's offensive.
Yeah. Well, it's a sour, so it's fine. Like,
But it's
they all smell like that.
Yeah, it smells bad. But as soon as you get past
I don't
the
think it
nose,
smells
it's
bad.
pretty good.
I don't think it smells bad.
No, it smells like a bin full of hops.
I think it smells good, but this is interesting. I like it. Shout out Zero Issue Brewing in Calgary, Alberta. My friend brought this back for me. We can't get this here. I like it. This is Innsmouth Mango Passion Fruit Sour. I'm a fan.
Nice. So I kind of want to talk about the subject that I've been talking about to everybody for the last little bit, which is just the imminent demise of humanity.
Sure. Let's try to give it a business slant, because this is a business podcast after all.
It does pertain to that, obviously, because it's relevant to every business.
If the world
period.
ends, then your business is fucked.
Not necessarily. It's not. The world doesn't just end.
So I think
the world just changes in a way that's gonna be really dramatic, which I mean we've all experienced in the last little while. But
you guys got me sad last night. We were on a call, the four of us, you, me, and you, and our two other friends, and you guys were just talking about we're like the world is ending. They're like the fucking ice caps are melting. They're pulling fucking mammoth tusks out of fucking rivers. Like, we're all gonna die.
And it's soon.
But our friend Mitch is very outdoorsy, knows how to fucking hunt and shit. He's like, I'll be fine.
He's a Métis hunting guide.
Yeah, and you know how to build houses, and JL's learning fucking whatever. And then I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm going to die.
So I actually have good news for you, because I thought of this after you hung up.
Okay.
I'm like, what's Willows going to do in the apocalypse? I'm like, oh, make liquor.
Well, yeah.
Because what?
Me and Zach will just
You
keep...
need like meat, salt,
and alcohol.
warmth, water, woman, liquor.
Yeah.
Like, those are the
Well, I guess,
businesses
yeah,
that
me
exist.
and Zach will just keep doing what we do.
Literally.
Yeah.
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 We'll restart the YouTube show, Will It Ferment? And it's just like the infrastructure's falling down. They're like, can you make this into liquor? And Isaac's is like, fuck yeah.
So here's also what I was thinking about this after the call as well. And like, I think we're probably agreed on this, that it's not going to be a Fallout style nuclear war. Everything gets fucked in a day and then we're in the Stone Age.
Probably.
I don't think so. Okay.
It could happen.
Well, maybe we don't agree with this, so let's argue. But I think
It's not likely, but because of everything else that happens, it's going to bring international tensions to its maximum point.
Okay,
Period.
so here's what I think. I think people are so self-interested, right?
Mm-hmm.
That at a certain point, it almost like flip-flops. Because at a certain point, they're going to be like, oh God, we have to cooperate, otherwise we are all going to die.
Yeah.
I don't think the average person, I know the average, probably right-leaning person more than left-leaning person, but I think the average, right-leaning person will never be a communist no matter what. Kill me first.
Right.
But then when it comes down to join my commune or, you're getting shot in the face, they'll be like, okay, fine.
Right, but there's going to be, right-leaning communes and communities. There's going to be libertarian communes. There's going to be communist communes. It's
all the same shit, though. It's fucking
it's
horseshoe theory.
It's the rhetoric.
The farthest right and the farthest left are exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the rhetoric that changes. But there will be a place for everyone. The biggest. Okay, maybe we should back up and talk about why we're talking about this. Because we're already we're jumping in halfway into this conversation.
Sure, yeah. So we started talking more about climate crisis, basically.
Because
was where this started. Will be the hottest year on record in Manitoba.
Because the UN.
We're beyond saving, basically.
Well, not that we're beyond saving, but we're at the point where they're basically, because the UN can't say the world's going to end because
cause panic,
right? And also when you're talking about scientific consensus, and then what? So that's the premise. That's the premise of the conversation. Is situation's fucking dire. And it's about to get real bad real fast. And some of the estimates say, 1.5 degrees warming could hit as soon as 2026. So if you do the fucking math, that's very close. And at 1.5 degrees, things get pretty crazy. Storms get really bad, droughts get really bad, tornadoes, fires, rainstorms, droughts, heat waves. Mostly the fucking heat waves, the killer heat waves, are just going to get insane because the tornadoes and the hurricanes and the typhoons are really dramatic and they make for good news, but heat waves are what kill people. When you get to the point of the extreme heat waves that are going to happen, 4 or 5 days over 40 degrees Celsius or over 120 degrees, over 125 degrees Fahrenheit, 128 degrees Fahrenheit, planes can't fly. And so you have airport shutdowns. You have cars breaking down. You have people.
Well, there was
people baking in their cars at the side of the road when they break down.
There was one day this summer, that India got hot enough that your body can no longer cool itself.
That's not that hot. That's only 35 degrees.
No. It was 47. There's dry temperature and wet temperature is different.
34.5 wet bulb is the kind of point of now you start dying.
Yeah, because your body can no longer
can't shed
anything.
Heat.
There's nothing in the atmosphere. It's not enough for it to get any liquid from.
And your body just can't shed heat. It's going to continue to build heat until it overheats. So using shade, using water,
So people probably we don't need to go any more into this situation, right? People understand.
It's fucking dire.
People understand, but
if you don't believe me, fuck you.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't. So I think if
you don't believe me, it doesn't matter. Just wait.
I haven't recently, at least, talked to a climate change denier that doesn't think climate change is happening.
I think the number
Most of the climate change deniers that I talk to think that climate change is happening, but it's not our fault.
Mm-hmm.
That the world goes through ice ages, it goes through heating periods, and we're just in one of the normal cycles of the Earth.
Right.
And that humans will survive it like we always do.
So that's the evolution of opinion, maybe really even the last 5 years?
I think it's pretty recent because I think people were just completely denying it, and now it's literally you can't deny it anymore. It's just happening.
Yeah, so I think the actual number is 87% of people believe in it. That's including Republicans, including right-wing.
Yeah, but our Conservative Party in Canada can't even acknowledge it's a real thing.
Oh, I wish they didn't exist. So around 87% of people agree it's real, but the thing is, they can't agree on its cause or its solution. And this is
that's the
and
big
this
thing.
is what's going to fucking kill us,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
nothing short of extremely dramatic and
we're-
draconian
we're-
measures would fix
we're,
anything.
We're gonna be on fire, arguing how to fix how to put out the fire.
No, we're going to be on fire arguing about electric cars.
Yeah,
Like we'll be like 2 decades behind on our actual issues.
like always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the climate problem is going to have to be so acute and so severe and so extreme. Like, you're going to have to see, like, think about how many people died from COVID. Like, millions of people are dying from it, and you still can't get everyone to take it seriously.
You can't even get people to acknowledge it's real.
Right. So in order to actually take a reasonable action to, start fixing climate change, which is going to fuck the world economy, it's going to fuck the infrastructure, it's going to destroy people's way of life, it's going to be so disruptive, so destructive, which is most people's argument for not taking climate change measures, because they're like, oh, it's going to destroy the economy. Like, yeah. But also will the apocalypse. But
you know me, like, I'm one of the most probably capitalist people out there.
So you'll do great.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that capitalism is based on abundance.
It's based on resource extraction.
Well, exactly. And when we reach a point of scarcity, when we don't have the resources and we can't have, because capitalism is based on infinite expansion.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a year where you can beat the previous year.
Yeah.
And eventually we will hit a wall. It's just going to happen. And what I have debated with people, I get into a lot of like internet debates with people that I'm just defending points I don't believe in just because I'm bored. But the legitimate debates I've had with people like JL, for instance, like someone who I like and respect and think is intelligent, is that we both agree that capitalism is coming to an end.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. But what does a post-capitalism society look like?
I hope, like, anarcho-capitalism would be ideal.
I just don't think it's going to be, we're going to develop systems that haven't been ever seen before, I think.
Yeah, like,
because
I love the mutual aid idea is fantastic.
I think the amount of how technology is going to have a effect in it, I think is beyond our comprehension right now.
Yeah, that's going to be weird. It's like you're going to have like the Wild West of like towns trading and sheriffing, but the internet, because people are going to find a way to keep the internet going.
Oh, of course.
People are going to find a way to keep the basics of the grid going. Like, it's going to be weird.
We're going to be like plugged in the Matrix, like literally, like it. It's I don't. So I've had debates where it's like, what does post-capitalism look like? And I don't think it's socialism. I don't think it's communism. I don't think it's going to work, because I've had this.
It'll have to be a hybrid of all of them.
I've said this position before. I think that money is one of the smartest ideas that we've ever had as a society. I think that currency directly takes that little fucking thing inside of you, the self-interested part, the part that's like, I need to do this for me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it translates that into a physical coin that you can hold. Right. I think currency was the smartest thing, and I think that's what got us here in the last 200 years.
Yeah.
I think currency is the smartest development. And I'm not saying...
And arguably currency exchange and the stock market. Like,
yeah, is some of the smartest, because obviously we've had
equities markets and commodities markets based on a currency. Like, that's everything.
Obviously we've had currency like Mesopotamia and Babylon have had currency for 4,000 years.
But they didn't have equity markets.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the last like 200 years, since the or even like since the Industrial Revolution, pretty much. Yeah, I think that money and the stock market
it's the most effective. It's not perfect.
No,
it's the most effective way that
close.
we have yet found to modulate an economy.
Yes.
Here's an interesting take that I actually heard, and this is why I'm like more doomsday than ever. Which I'm not a fucking doomsday person, if you know me. I'm extremely optimistic, but I heard this on MSNBC's Worldwide Exchange. No. We don't need another shot, Will. Let's put it down for now. fine. So they're talking about how the Fed, with its open, bond buying and what its supporting of the economy and of the stock market, every time the Fed does anything and like twitches its pinky finger, the whole economy twitches.
The Fed was the worst. Taking the U.S. off the gold standard was the dumbest thing ever.
Right. So right now the Fed is basically supporting the entire U.S. economy, and everyone's like, "Oh, the economy's great, the stock market's great, everything's great." I don't think maybe they realized what they were saying, but in this interview, they basically said once the Fed stops, if the Fed wasn't doing what it's doing, if the Fed stops doing what it's doing, all the support within the economy will completely fucking dump. And you're talking free fall. You're talking dirty 30s. You're talking like cataclysmic collapse of the equities market. I'm not saying the economy will collapse. Like, the equities market is super dependent on it right now because everyone is looking at what is the Fed doing, because the Fed must have, an oracle eye into the future.
Of course. And meanwhile, they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right, but that doesn't matter.
No, because everything's based on it.
Right, because everything's based on it. And that's key to my next point, which is hedge funds. Like, you look at BlackRock, you look at any big hedge fund, they have AI systems.
Capital.
Right, they have AI systems that are making decisions based on
what the Fed does.
On parameters, and a giant parameter is going to be the Fed. So all of these things, it's like a fucking house of cards, and there's just like, you knock out one of these pieces, you break confidence, and it implodes.
Well, because like I always say, like, we're not living in like a capitalist society. This is a corporatist, cronyist system.
It's Fed backed by money printers. Like, it's not.
Well, like,
it's far removed from the principles of capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. And like, corporatist is basically when like, But
in the name of growth, we had to come up with it.
And then socialists, when I debate them, will say like, well, that's inevitable in capitalism.
Not necessarily.
That giant corporations eventually take control of everything. Right? Which is like, fine. That's an argument, at least. I don't disagree. Like, I'm so...
You can have capitalism and also have antitrust.
Yeah. Like, I guess, like, we're just too many fucking people. That was our fucking, we need a plague. Wait. No, like, that was
the earth is gonna
I always preach how great the Hutterites are.
Yeah.
We have a big Hutterite. Google what a Hutterite is.
The last people alive on earth will be the fucking Hutterites.
100%. No question.
The Hutterites in Manitoba will be the last one standing.
Google what a Hutterite is. About 90% of them live in Manitoba, Canada, where we live. Yeah. They're basically if Amish use technology.
And also had superpowers.
Yeah, but think about that. That's what the Hutterites are. If Amish people use technology. So these are isolated people who tell the government to fuck off. Like, they don't want their pictures on licenses. They don't fucking respect the government. And they live in their communes away from us, but they also have giant manufacturing operations.
And they have some of the most high-tech, they have the highest technology available in the country.
We were just talking about stars. Remember?
Yeah.
You were asleep, but...
this is wild.
A couple weekends ago, we went to the lake, my business partner's cabin, and we were boating in the night, like coming back from the island we were getting drunk at, and we saw there was this fucking giant spotlight.
It was really
that
annoying.
Like blinded us, and I was like, "Ooh, it looks like a fucking guy with a spotlight on it. Like, how fucking bright is that flashlight?" Right? Wake up in the morning, man drowned in the lake.
Yeah,
and we pretty much saw it. Right? Man drowned in the lake, and that was a rescuer, like, looking for the body. Unfortunately, he passed away, and they found his body later. But who found his body was the Hutterite rescue team.
Yeah, because they invented
A sonar technology.
Yeah, for
that is
lakes. Yeah,
for Manitoba Lake specifically.
or just for lakes.
Whatever, but they got like a government. What was it? I was laughing. It was a proceeds of crime grant.
Yeah,
They got all the money that they like the fucking RCMP has taken from me.
right.
I mean, other people that have been convicted of crimes, and funded this like sonar technology that they have a patent on. Hutterites are awesome, and they have figured out when they hit 500 people in a colony.
I think it's 300.
Is it 300?
I think it's 300.
When they hit 300 people in a colony, they split in half and they make a new colony.
Yeah,
And they always keep it under that.
and the colony is led under the structure of a church, which is a pastor and deacons.
But even the pastor and the deacons don't have final say, though.
No.
It's like a community vote,
Yeah.
essentially. And these fucking guys are awesome. I don't want to like rat on them too much, but if you ever like work with them for a while and like trade with them and like they trust you,
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Hey, you drink alcohol?" And you're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let me show you something." I've seen some fucking distilling operations in like basements in these fucking Hutterite colonies. Like I've seen some
Because
shit.
they have money.
And they make great wine. Like
their operations in these communes, like they're not just shitty little operations. Like they are the size of commercial farms.
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
Like
They're
tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
No,
of
they are not.
assets.
They are not making. They're a commune, a community.
They're a capitalist commune.
Yeah, they're a community-owned commune that is manufacturing and fucking ripping off people, and never give a Hutterite something for free, because they will never pay for it again.
Yeah.
After you give it one time for free, they will never pay for it again.
Yeah, they're cheap as hell.
But I love them.
And they will rob you blind.
Oh,
like
they're great businessmen.
The Hutterite colonies
Great
around like Winkler.
Yeah.
I've seen it before where people like they'll set up their garage sale, but like in their garage, like not on the driveway, because the Hutterites will roll up with like, you know, as we call the quote unquote Hutterite van, which is like the Ford Econoline 15
buy these
passenger.
like
And so they roll up with a 15 passenger van with like four women and like 12 kids.
Yeah.
And they'll roll up, they'll all like burst out the door, and they will fucking take over your garage
Just
sale,
haggle you out of your shit.
No, they'll rob you blind. They won't buy a goddamn thing, and they'll walk away with half your shit. But because there's so many people, you can't like track what's going on. And
I don't
they
think
like
they steal
they
stuff.
literally like make pouches.
We don't want to accuse them of stealing.
No. This isn't accusation. This is shit I've literally seen firsthand. This is firsthand account. Like this one woman.
I'm not co-signing anything Tyler's saying right now.
This woman got busted at Superstore because she had like sewn into her dress like layers of petticoats. She would like go around Superstore and just like stuff her dress full of shit. And like the security guard, I guess, like saw her, stopped her at the door, and is like, "Okay, like we need to deal with this. Like you have so much shit in your dress right now." And they just like started like pulling it out, and it was like a shopping cart worth of stuff stuffed into her dress.
To be absolutely fair, it's always moral to steal from giant corporations.
Which is like that's how they feel. Like they don't feel they don't feel that like the law applies to them.
So, as a small business owner, I don't want anyone to steal from me, obviously.
Yeah.
However, if grocery stores waste so much food that they don't give away to homeless shelters, not their fault. The government doesn't let them, at least in our province. The owners of Food Fair, who I respect a lot, Munthar Zeed, has been a great advocate for everyone in this province. He's a great guy. He's tried to give his leftover food that was going bad to homeless shelters. The government fucking fined him for it.
Can we like take on that law? Like,
I think people are working.
That's so
on
frustrating.
It. Yeah, because it's a food safety issue.
Fuck them.
That's what I say. Is when our country is producing enough, like America produces enough waste to feed the entire world.
Did you watch that video that I sent to the mastermind chat like a couple hours ago of the guy that's like from the Intergalactic Space Council?
No, I've been working.
And he's like, okay, so so how's your he's like, so how fast are your teleporters? Oh, no teleporters. Okay, it's like what about your high speed rail system around the planet? Oh, okay, no rail system. Okay, how about your food system? It's like, are you making enough food? It's like, yeah, okay. Well, I've seen reports of people starving though. It's like, oh, logistic. It's a logistics issue. You want me to write down logistics? Okay.
That's
Okay, it's a
funny.
logistical issue. like that's
So
it's fucking disgusting.
as a super capitalist person myself, in a society where you're wasting that much food, it's moral to steal from Superstore. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I'm just saying, like, this is the reputation of them is like they don't give a fuck about the rules. I mean, you obviously take measures to protect yourself from getting robbed.
So I guess
but
give I think charity. I think if we had obviously my political beliefs differ based on what I think can actually be accomplished.
yeah.
Like ideally, we just have we have no government. We just all trade with each other and like whatever, right? But realistically, that won't happen because there'll be people like me taking advantage of everyone.
When you say taking advantage of, you mean selling them all the liquor they can drink.
Sure. But well, I don't know. I guess like this is why I don't like to identify myself as any left wing or right wing or anything like that, because I think these grocery stores should be giving away their fucking not rotten, but like over expiry date food.
Yeah.
I think they should be fucking compelled to do it.
Yeah.
But I also think that like ideally a government should not make you do that, but you want to do it because you want to help people.
Right. You shouldn't be compelled, but I mean, most people would be out of.
Most people are good. We've talked about this on the podcast 100 times. I think most people are good.
Yeah, which is why I think the end of the world is not going to be chaos. The chaos is going to come from the people in power trying to retain power.
Yes, and the chaos is going to be fleeting.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us are going to step forward and because a lot of us have levels of things that we want to be that we're comfortable with. I personally like electricity and internet and my cell phone and indoor plumbing. Like, I personally don't want to live on a fucking ranch in the forest. You know what I mean? Like, but I think there's enough people like me that will come forward and be like, you know what? Maybe we should keep the internet, Facebook fucking running, guys. Maybe that should be one of our priorities as a fucking society. Like, I think that as things get taken away, more things will get added. I don't think we're ever going to go through like a Fallout style apocalypse where we're just all living in fucking raider camps.
Well, the issue is another shot.
We're going to take another shot.
Just because.
Why? It's the... Yeah.
The issue is...
I've had like 2 drinks open this entire time. I've had a cocktail and a beer. And I haven't eaten in 36 hours. I'll reiterate.
Uh-huh.
And I got to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take another shot. Fuck it.
So the one thing that fucks us all up from the, dystopian future ideas of, we rebuild a new society and all that, is the inexorable march of climate change making life fucking hell every year.
Sure.
And worse.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking best case scenario, if everything gets better from today, which is guaranteed to not.
Of course.
We have about 30 years before you return to being as good as it is today again.
It's like when you stop smoking.
Right, and then it gets better, right? Because the inertia, the momentum of the climate change, right?
Do you think
every
I feel
year
like
that
we're gonna hit a cap though.
Of shit going bad?
Yeah, as a society, Western society at least, has been like, yeah, maybe we should do electric cars. Like,
right.
We're kind of switching that way. Even China's like swearing to be fucking carbon neutral by like 2030 or something.
50.
Okay, but still, that's within your 30 years of like no return kind of thing. Okay, China's the biggest polluter in the fucking world.
No, the U.S. military is.
And I hate the U.S. military too, but like as a country,
U.S.
like,
military number 1, U.S. number 2, and then like China is like number 3 or
I
4.
know India's like bad.
Yeah, but they don't have as many cars. They don't burn as much shit as we do. Like,
Well, Canada's not fucking a problem.
no, relatively no.
We have enough forest in Canada still. It evens out our carbon footprint.
Yeah.
But
we're,
still.
we're carrying the team right here. But no,
Well, I guess like why I guess this is everyone's mentality is like what is me caring going to do about this? And then everyone thinks that and then nothing happens. But like realistically, no matter what I do with all my businesses, the US military is still going to pollute more than me.
pollute more than the country.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's why climate change is going to progress until it destroys enough infrastructure that we stop.
We can't subsist how
We
are.
literally can't pollute enough anymore.
Because
Like
we'll die. Because
everyone's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
everyone's dead.
cars can't run because it's too hot.
Or the oil pumps are shut down because everyone's dead.
Or we run out of oil.
Yeah. So like those things will probably need to happen because we're fucking stupid.
Humans are dumb. Yeah.
Like we're not. I don't think there's any scenario in which we are able to implement policy quickly enough or
radically enough
to actually make a difference. Like this is one of the ideas. Like reading a lot of sci-fi novels, it's like the billionaire godlike being that comes in with this super technology and saves everyone, colonizes Mars, starts up a new colony. Like
Elon Bezos.
Exactly. Elon Bezos, the 5th child of the monarchy that runs the world.
Wow.
I can see it now.
Me too.
Like that.
He has a big chin.
Yeah, like that God complex, I think, is dying because the consistent pattern among the rich, powerful, and geniuses that are in the know, quote unquote, in the know, are buying bunkers to protect themselves. They don't have a fucking plan. They don't have a contingency.
Yeah, but should it be there? Whose responsibility does this fall under?
Well, it's
everyone's.
But
right?
that's everyone thinks that those are the people that are going to fix the problem for them.
Yeah.
They're going to sit back and be like, oh, they'll invent something. The U.S. government will come up with something. Oh, DARPA probably has something.
I kind of feel like that is true though. Like someone will figure something out.
It might be, but it's probably not. And if there is something, it's probably not going to work.
Okay, well then we're all
enough.
fucked. What's your fucking plan?
Buck up.
Yeah.
Buck up, ride it out, and try to have fun. Like literally, that's my plan. So here's my plan. This is what I'm dealing with it. This is how I'm dealing with it. Basically, like I want to build. I've always had a vision of a dream house. That's just slightly changing at this point. I want to have, my not necessarily off the grid, but like fully self-sustaining house in the woods because I'm in Canada, and that's very accessible to me. Like, if the power goes down, there's a month-long snowstorm. If there's an extreme heat wave, if the water plants can't sustain us anymore, like if any of those things happen, I want to be able to just live day to day. Like if I can if I don't need to work my job anymore, I can just fucking retreat to my cabin and I can spend all day just living. I can hunt enough, I can fish enough, there's food, I can grow enough vegetables in my garden to stay healthy. Like that is my priority for the next decade. And it was kind of my dream anyways before I got freaked out about climate, is to just kind of have that lifestyle. Just because, don't make a fucking dent in the world. Like that was just kind of always my dream, but now it's almost more of a necessity than an ideal to strive for. So like that's what I'm going to go for, is like I'm going to start preparing for the fact that I can't just get bananas from California for $3 anymore. Like if I want fruit, I got to find a way to find it or grow it. Or if I want onions, I got to know how to plant a fucking onion. And I need the dirt to plant an onion.
Onions have layers.
Yeah. So that's basically my plan, is like take care of yourself first. And
is that going to be your tip of the day? We could it's hour 35, remember, plus the 10 minutes we did before I switched the camera. So
yeah, I guess like find a way, like get your fucking emergency. Like I'm actually, this is the scary part. I'm starting to hear podcast ads from FEMA saying, prepare yourself for extreme weather events.
It's fine.
It's like, when a tornado comes knocking, are you fucking prepared? That
So-
FEMA is putting out ads like this on Spotify.
Vima?
Which isn't FEMA.
Vima?
Yeah.
So this is our segment that we call Business Tip of the Day,
Get fucking prepared.
where we give you a business tip based on something that we're currently going through in business. And Tyler's tip of the day?
Is buy a bush.
Hmm?
Is have a plan. Because, I don't watch any movie. Like, when the smallest shit
Watch
goes
any
down, when the smallest shit goes down, everyone runs out of the cities. Everyone's like, for some reason, they don't know where they're going.
I'm going to stay in the city.
Yeah,
me
you
personally.
Yeah, you'll run into the city and you'll be
Yeah.
the king.
Exactly. Thank you.
But have a fucking plan. Like, even a basic one. Like, most people, when I say have a plan, it's if you have.
If I was born 1,000 years ago, I'd be a king. Find the poorest peasant just to give him a gold crown. You melt it down, that's enough to feed the whole town. Whoa!
You with the lyrics.
Shout out Big Heath.
If you have 4 weeks of food, 4 weeks of water, you are like in the top 1% of most prepared people on the planet.
Sure.
Like, buy a bucket of dried food. You can buy buckets of dried
Seeds.
food. Like,
Seeds, that's what they tell
right,
you.
seeds,
Buy seeds.
fresh water. Like, it's not hard. Turn on the fucking tap, buy some containers, keep like 40 gallons
It
of
goes bad,
fresh
though.
water. I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
But like, use it for bath water or something when it doesn't. Like,
Mm.
clean the house, cycle it out.
Yeah.
But like, keep some amount of fresh water in your house, because like I've had water cut off of me like twice this year just because construction on the street, and it's really humbling when they cut off the water and within 3 hours I'm like, I'm in trouble.
Your word.
Like, my toilet's full of shit, I can't flush, my hands are dirty, I can't cook, like, I don't have water. I like go to drive a couple blocks down to like a friend's house to like get water so I could get through the evening. Like, just if that's all you can do, the fucking basics. And I think the same goes for your business and the people within your business. Think about the ways that you're actually going to be fundamentally useful to the world, and kind of prepare for that, because as climate events get more extreme, as world markets get more volatile and unpredictable, just think about your position, because I don't know. Are podcasts gonna happen in the apocalypse? Are we gonna keep podcasting?
I was
Are we
actually
keep this
just
going?
that was gonna be my next thing I was gonna say.
Well, I'll snowshoe like 74 hours
So-
over to your house.
And we'll
to-
fucking radio, like AM radio broadcast.
I
there,
want
right?
an AM radio show.
So I'll ask you a question, because I think I think that documenting my life
Yeah.
and my journey and everything, I think that's really important. I think that's one of the most important things ever.
Yeah.
When people always say that way, though, that's why they write books, right? That's why but like, I think doing like a weekly podcast like this and just talking about my life and then talking about my opinions at the time, I think this is very important for the human race. And I don't give a shit if people listen to it right now. Like, I know that's kind of like whatever. That's kind of, well, Willows, you're a fucking idiot. But like, I honestly do think this is important, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
The documentation, I think it's important. And if we're going to do this, like, I'm ready to do this every week until we fucking die. Seriously.
AM radio, baby.
Seriously.
Well,
And if you are too, what year, let's fucking clip this. This is going online. What year do you think the entire world society will collapse?
oh God.
It's August 2021 right now. What year do you think the entire world society will collapse? Will be like what you're talking about?
let's say maybe not collapse, but will be unrecognizable.
Yeah, the climate crisis has gotten so bad. Like, like everything we've been talking about.
I think 2050 is a long shot.
That's like, it's probably gonna happen before then.
I think
That's what you're
2050.
saying.
I think 2050 on the long side.
So that's 29 years.
Yeah.
28 years, 29 years. So we'll be what? 30, 50, 60, in our 60s?
We'll be old men. That's on the long end.
Mm-hmm.
On the aggressive end, I'd be like maybe a decade before that.
We'll see. We'll see if Trump gets elected again in 2024.
He will.
Do you think he's gonna run?
Of course he's gonna run.
Okay.
Trump's gonna fucking win.
Did you
Of course
see
he's
him?
gonna run.
Did you see him get it?
He's already campaigning.
Did you see him? Alabama. He recommended everyone get the vaccine.
Yeah, and they booed him.
So, I retweeted this video.
Even Trump has a few brain cells.
At Vote Willows on Twitter. I retweeted this video. I know I have been on this podcast saying I think Trump is smarter than people give him credit for. He was in Alabama talking to a crowd, and he was basically what he said was like, yeah, like, how are we gonna end this fucking pandemic? Get your vaccine. People go boo, and he goes, yeah, I know. Your freedoms. I got the vaccine 10 months ago. If something bad's gonna happen, you'll be the first to know. I'll call Alabama. I'll be like, hey, something bad. Like, this is literally verbatim what Trump said. Google it. Trump is like, get your fucking shot. I got it.
Yeah, if only he did that a year ago.
Fair. But I don't know. I like whatever. You're very doom and gloomy this week.
No, I also want to just kind of sum it up and say I'm not usually like this. This is a moment for me. I also just had my 26th birthday. Like, it's right around the 2 to 3 weeks around my birthday and around New Year's, I'm all fucked up every year.
Fair.
Guaranteed. And
we made, so on, it was his birthday. We were both working.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a long day. We were both working. We were like, let's hang out on the weekend. And then on the day, I got all my Snapchat memories of us taking shots every birthday for like 4 years.
Yeah.
So I just sent it to you, and you were like, so you came to my office and we took a shot.
Yeah.
Just so we could do that.
Yeah, like left work early.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
In the Satanist religion,
Mm-hmm.
Anton LaVey Satanism, which I'm very familiar with, there's other Satanistic holidays you can observe, but the only holiday you need to observe as a Satanist is your own birthday, because nothing is more valuable than your own existence.
Right.
Because Satanism, Anton LaVey Satanism, is about individualism.
Right.
It's an atheistic religion, basically worshiping Satan to make fun of Christians, essentially.
Yeah, no, it's just a meme.
It's literally because, and they dress up in the, like, there's pictures of Anton LaVey in this fucking flowing robes, like these black robes that you would, like, you think about, and then he has naked girls on these fucking stone tablet, like, whatever, and people asked him about it, and he's like, well, yeah, I'm just doing a stage play, just like the fucking Catholic priests do.
Yeah.
But I'm honest about it.
Yeah.
I'm honest that this is all fake. That we just like dressing up. It's fun.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking priests do it, but they think it's fucking serious. It's not. They're fucking idiots.
They think it means something.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't call myself a Satanist, but I respect the whole...
some good ideas.
I respect the whole thing. And literally in the only... Because they have these, like, weird Satan holidays that you can take, but they said if you don't need to take those, the only holiday you need to take is your own birthday.
Yeah.
Because you as the individual, that, like, I think it's like some line that's like, if no one else is going to care about you, fuck you, I'm going to care about me, like, something like that. Like,
absolutely.
So I always take my birthday off of work.
Yeah.
Even if I go to work, because I usually work on my birthday because I own a business, but I mark it. I think it's really valuable to mark it. And that's why I wanted you to come have a shot with me, little buddy.
That's
little
fair.
Boy.
Yeah, I tend to not care about myself very much, so that's good. But I think birthday has something to do with my state of mind, and like I will also preface this with the fact of like I'm not one of those fucking doomsday grifters that's like trying to sell you something or
Well,
some
no,
idea or
you're
trying to get
closer to
fame for it.
50 than you are being born now.
Gross. Disgusting. Like I'm not trying to fucking run a grift here because I would be pleased as goddamn punch if I'm wrong about everything.
Yeah.
And I'll live a
Yeah.
happy life.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sell you anything. Like, this is something that I'm taking seriously and I'm sharing because obviously, you know, if
It's something that
there's
actually-
there's a mudslide that's gonna break down my house, maybe yours. It's like I'm probably gonna tell you about it.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
That's how I see it.
Oh,
And you know, it's fucking serious and it's objectively true at this point.
I don't-
So
the mudslide thing just made me remember. I want to bring this up because it's going to be out of my mind soon. So the other day, this was Tuesday. Yesterday? Was this really yesterday? Holy fuck, the days.
yesterday.
So yesterday, I got woken up by a bang.
I still want to know what happened.
No, well, I'll tell the story. So, it's the time of year. It's September, or it's nearly September. It's the end of August in Winnipeg. It's cold, getting cold at night. So it's the time of year we turn off our air conditioning and just open the windows in the house, right? And so I have my window open, and I'm sleeping like a little boy, and then I get woken up by a fucking bang. That was half trying to get Tyler off his phone, half like trying to illustrate with the story. And I'm, half asleep and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. It's, I like they're doing construction across the street. They're renovating the house. So I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What it sounded like to me was something fell.
Right.
Right. And then, so I'm like, oh, whatever. Roll back over, close my eyes. And then my phone buzz, 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 buzz. And I'm like, okay. And it was a bunch of texts. So I grab my phone and I look at it. And it's, we have a group chat with my two roommates and my neighbor and her husband. And my neighbor is telling me, because I'm driving my business partner's car. He has my van at the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving his car. So she didn't recognize the car. She's like, whose car is that right in front of the house? And I'm, I was going to go back to sleep, but I fucking responded, mine. Why? Move, fire, now. With 3 different texts. Move, fire, now. So I fucking jump up, throw on a fucking hoodie in my boxers, run outside. I'll put a picture. If you're watching the video version of this podcast on youtube.com/votewillows, I put a picture right now. My fucking neighbor's driveway, his van, I guess, is on fire.
Yeah.
Like fucked fire. Like you saw the videos.
Yeah.
Like engulfed in flame. And my partner's car, who I'm driving, is right in front of that fucking driveway. So I literally sprint in like flip-flops and boxers and a hoodie, jump into my fucking partner's car and move it. And then I come back over and, all my neighbors are standing in their front lawn. We live in a upper middle class white neighborhood. So everyone's fucking looky-looing, right? Whatever. So I go over to my neighbor's driveway, who I'm friends with, and we stand together. And we're just watching this right across. It's literally my neighbor right across the street. Their fucking van exploded. And the explosion that woke me up was the gas tank popping, I guess. That's what the fire department said.
Right.
And then there was 4 other explosions. Every tire popped.
Right.
And, yeah, it's it's a rich white neighborhood, like I said, and people called the fire department pretty quick. They showed up, they put it out, whatever.
Yeah, they move quick.
They were here. Oh, we have a fire department just down Roblin.
Yeah, they were like shooting out the hoses before they even got off the truck.
Well, yeah, no, they were like, I have a fire department 3 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
So it was a whole thing. And it's funny because people always park in front of the fucking fire hydrant.
Yeah.
On my road, always. And I even park because it's right in front of my house, but on the other side, like the other lane. So I always park in like kind of in front, probably too close to it, but like enough they could have, whatever.
It's in a ditch. It's fine.
It's fine. But it's this was like the day no one was parked in front of it.
Nice.
Every other day people are parked in front of it. This was like the one day no one was parked in front of it.
Nice.
Yeah. So whatever. But they put it out, and my neighbor's house, you can see, I showed you today, like the siding has like buckled in the heat.
Yeah.
And it's all black, like smoke damage, like it's a whole thing. And my neighbor, who's actually my next door neighbor, who like told me to move the car, is an insurance adjuster.
Oh,
just out
nice.
of complete coincidence, that's her job. And she was like, "Oh yeah, now so for the next 9 months, the house insurance people battle the car insurance people in court to see who pays for it."
Oh. Nice.
She says she sees that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, was this a weird, like, that was the first time in a while I've had adrenaline. I forgot how that felt.
Like honest to God adrenaline, yeah.
Because when I read the text, move your car, fire now. I was
Hey,
literally like,
you're awake.
well, no, because I'm thinking like, my car's on fire, the house is on fire. I didn't fucking know. Like, you read fire and you heard an explosion. You're like, and when I ran out my back door, because we used the back door instead of the front door, when I ran out my back door, my next door neighbors on the other side were like all standing on their fucking deck watching this thing. And before I could see the fire, I saw them gawking at it, and I'm like, oh shit. So I had this fucking adrenaline rush, and then I haven't had adrenaline in a while. I had it a few times when I had like guns pointed at me and stuff, but like, I forget how like after it wears off, you're just shaking.
Yeah.
And it's just like this weird, like your body's like, okay, we're alive, like whatever. So I went and got a bunch of beers after.
Yeah. I saw that. And like, you're like, breakfast beers.
Yeah, like this was like 10 a.m. So like 11, I went out to the pub.
That's exactly what I did when I got fucking mugged. Is like went to Stella's and like had fucking liquor and breakfast. That's the same thing I did.
And just drank a bunch of beers and then went to work.
Yeah. I got mugged at like 9 a.m. and was... Yeah,
I remember
I
when
was was fucked up for like 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a whole thing. Anyway, but that was a story I wanted to tell because I probably won't remember it coming up, but it has nothing to do with anything. But so my business tip of the day, which is the segment that we are on, has literally nothing to do with anything we've said.
Perfect.
This entire podcast. We have not even mentioned it. It's a completely...
Which is great because you usually struggle for this one.
non-taxable benefits.
Okay.
Period. Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Name one.
So as we're starting to make more money, my corporation, I own 50% of my corporation. My business partner, Zach, owns the other 50%. So we are, and it's a corporation, so we have a board of directors. We're the only two directors. So anything we agree on becomes law, right?
Right.
So if you know anything about taxes, getting paid in income, in Canada at least, is taxed quite high. The highest tax rate in Canada is 48.5% or whatever. It's basically 50% of your money. Half your money gets paid in income taxes. So there's a lot of non-taxable benefits that you can give yourself as an owner of a corporation. Even if you don't make this much money, this is why it's a good business tip. Even if you don't make a ton of money. America has a similar because I know that 60% of our listening audience is in America, according to Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
America has a similar thing called an LLC, limited liability company. And you can form a limited liability company for like $100 or something. It's super cheap.
Well, I mean, corporations not much more.
Corporation's about $2,000 because you got to pay. You got to make your corporate bylaws and stuff. It's a whole thing, but whatever. But
the actual filing fees, though,
filing's like $60 or something.
Yeah.
But in Canada, you kind of have to pay a lawyer to do it.
Yeah.
In America, you can just file an LLC. It's like $100. Do that. That's my tip, but also not my tip. Because non-taxable benefits, there's a list. The CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, has a fucking list of benefits that you can pay directors of corporation and not pay taxes. So one of them, for instance, is you can pay for a car, which I do. You can pay for a car for your directors. That's not taxable. That income that pays that, you can't be taxed. Cell phone, can't be taxed. Home internet, can't be taxed. Food, quote, office canteen food.
Right.
You know how much fucking time I spend in my office? Like a lot.
Yeah.
So your corporation can buy food to keep in a office canteen, quote, quote, quote. Any of that food, groceries, is not taxed.
Right.
So you can basically have a couple meals a day that you don't have to pay taxes on that income, right?
Yeah.
So there is a ton of, and now that we're like starting to pay, because our first like year of salaries, if you will, between my partner and I were just loan repayment because we loaned money to the corporation to start the business. But now that we're like starting to pay that off, we have to start thinking, okay, how do we structure this shit? You know, you pay yourself $2,000 a month, right? Why do you need $2,000 a month? You pay, you know, $800 for rent. Then you pay $300 for a car. You pay $200 for groceries. You pay $80 for a cell phone. All this, right? Now, all of a sudden, think about this. Corporation pays for $80 for a cell phone. That's non-taxable. So that's less money you have to pay yourself, less income you make on the books, less income taxes you have to pay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, you get 2 meals a fucking day at your corporate canteen. So it's now, you know, $125 less a month you have to pay taxes on. Right? Your fucking car, your fucking insurance, all this shit, right?
Yep.
So Google non-taxable income and then plus your state, whatever state you live in.
Non-taxable benefits.
Non-taxable benefits, Ohio. Non-taxable benefits, Michigan. Google that. Read your tax code. There is a fucking cornucopia.
Or better yet, ask your accountant because you should have one.
Please have an accountant. Yeah, ask your accountant. But if you have a little LLC and you're just fucking around.
Yeah, maybe so. But yeah, for most businesses, an accountant, a good accountant, will be worth his weight in tax benefits.
Dude, the amount of fucking money my accountant saves me.
Like GST grants.
Oh, these weird manufacturing grants that he somehow knows about.
Yeah.
Like, no, hire an accountant. But, yeah, so that's has nothing to do with the podcast we were talking about, but this is something that me and my partner have been doing with the business.
Yeah.
Is non-taxable benefits is much better than just paying you. Mark Zuckerberg has a $1 a year salary.
Right.
Because income taxes are the highest taxes you pay.
Yeah. Yeah, and also he doesn't pay taxes on the increases of his wealth when his stocks go up every year, because if he doesn't sell them, he doesn't pay taxes on it.
Yeah, because it's an asset, not an income.
Yeah. And
even capital gains is half your income.
Yeah.
Like it's 50% of your whatever you're paying income. That's your capital gains. But if it's like a direct benefit, like a car paid for you, it's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no taxes.
Yep.
So that's my tip of the day, is look into that. Google non-taxable benefits and then the state you live in or the country you live in, and start reading about that, because
you can even subsidize your own rent.
You can, like 25% of your rent, as long as you quote use certain space for office work or whatever. Like,
which
you can write off.
I do.
You can write off your internet. You can write off computer purchases. Like you can, like, it's
extensive.
It's very extensive. Google that shit. That's my tip of the day.
Yep. Including everything that we spend money on for this podcast. True.
This podcast that is called Alcohol Beyond This Point.
Thank you.
Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram. Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on Facebook. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. I'm pretty drunk. I hope this was kind of informative. I think we just ranted about the Taliban for like 2 hours, but it's fine. Hopefully you liked my non-taxable benefit rant for like 8 minutes at the end of the podcast.
It's pretty good.
If you got this far. My name is Willows. Vote Willows on everything.
Like literally, if you would have gone to like a entrepreneurship seminar for an entire evening.
I gave you more value.
That's what you gotta name it
Yeah.
as. So fuck you. Fuck you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for listening to the whole podcast.
It's my favorite like running joke is that Tyler just hates the audience and I love the audience. That's like my favorite.
Like, I'm so annoyed with you right now.
Yeah, and I love you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, fuck off.
Thanks. Like, I don't know, like.
And tune in to AM 750 when we switch to.
Dude, if
no, what's not AM radio? What's the other ham radio?
Ham radio? No.
Our
but
ham radio
see,
station.
the thing about ham is that it's too limited range. I think, right?
No, ham is like you can cross like America with ham radio.
Oh, is it? I don't know anything about radio waves. We're gonna look into it, and if the internet ever goes out because of an apocalypse, we're gonna be on fucking ham radio.
Fuck yeah. Be hawking USB sticks at the farmer's market.
Here's a QR code. Follow our fucking radio station.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.